It doesn't matter. Like if I'm faced at a bar, the chance that I am going to talk Chris Hansen is a high probability. It completely it ruined my entire view of how docuseries are made. Why did you write for Drama Alert? Because seeing you do journalism was adorable.
Most viewers on YouTube, sorry, no offense to chat, are like goldfish.
The average YouTube viewer has no idea either of you exist. You're very niche personalities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nicholas DeOrio is in chat and he keeps making these comments, right? He's claiming that you fucked up the Onision story. What's that all about?
Oh God. No, I didn't fuck up the Onision story. I consulted on a docuseries and was a talking head at a docuseries. I had no control over how the docuseries was made. I didn't like the docuseries in the way that it was made. So I distanced myself from it. I don't talk about it. I don't really use it. But it did happen. That's my take on the docuseries.
Okay. I mean, he's claiming... Sorry, listen. Nicholas is a friend of mine. One thing that does annoy me about him sometimes, though, is, he'll have some take on someone that lasts forever and that never changes, okay? So, I'm willing to accept that he could be being like that about this. But yeah, he's claiming that you went to the Discovery Network against the consent of the victims. Is that true?
No. Chris Hansen did that. I had no involvement. Once I learned that the victims wanted nothing to do with it, I wanted nothing to do with it. But I was already stuck in. I don't like. I've made this publicly clear. I do not like how the docuseries was made. I don't think what they did was ethical. When I do my journalism these days, I do not do it how the Discovery did it. I have not worked with Discovery ever again. And like I understand how Nick feels. He's made it plenty of clear on podcasts. But
listen, I'm just chucking this at you live without any, I don't know anything about this.
I have no problem talking about it. Like I agree that the docuseries was a bad look. I don't like it. I've, distanced myself from it. It's not my work. It's like associate that with Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen was the one way more involved than me. And
but you did choose to work with Chris Hansen, from what I understand. Is that right?
I didn't know he was involved until, as involved as he was. I thought he was just being an interviewee until much later. Unfortunately, them's the breaks. You live and you learn being a weird journalist on the internet.
How long ago did all this happen?
2020. That's when I think I made it, over the course of the pandemic.
Okay.
I
Anyway, listen. People keep saying in chat that I'm burning the bridge. I'm just trying to have a fun conversation, okay? Appreciate that's trying to curveball.
No, here's the thing. I don't mind talking about it because I do think that there is a lot of misinfo out. When I publish a story to this day, there will be one dumbass in the comment saying, "Oh, this is the guy who did the Onision on docuseries, so disregard his story." It was not my work. Okay. It was something I just jumped in on. Okay. I don't want that to be my legacy.
In any case, I don't know the ins and outs of this. I do trust Nicholas DeOrio, but I know what he's like. So, don't worry. We don't need to fucking go into the details of it. Nicholas DeOrio, if you want to come on, I know you're probably at work. Maybe another time you can speak to me about this, okay? But fuck me.
I just, this is to chat and to Nick, I guess. Please look at my stories that I'm doing these days as showing of my work and what I care about. My stuff on Passion Fruit and my stuff on Rolling Stone. Those are the stories that I really put my heart and effort into making sure they're done as properly and ethically as possible. I have most of the control. I am able to do the things that I think need to get done. With the docuseries, I did not.
Do you want to speak to Nicholas? No
is
pressure.
It gonna be a screaming match and yelling and
It will not be a screaming match.
It's early.
Nicholas is going to be on a tight leash, okay? It's up to you. There's no pressure, honestly. You say what you want to do, okay?
Sure. I do it lethargically,
it's
for
fine.
the content.
Trust me, okay? Listen, Put your trust in me, all right? I believe me, it's going to be fine. Okay, right. Let's see what Nicholas has got to say for himself.
Sorry, mute. Hey, by the way, specifically, Chud ignored the entire part where I said, like, hey, only if you're, like, super comfortable, I'll come on here. I'm not trying to, like, fucking scare the shit out of you or anything. Because honestly, I don't think your response was that horrible. I was expecting you to kind of just defend the whole thing. So the fact that you seem to show some remorse over it is valuable enough to have, like, a normal conversation.
No, I stand. It's the position I've had since the thing came out. I hate it. I hate it with a violent passion. I don't think it did the story justice in the slightest. I've distanced myself from Discovery and the story in general. I will call Chris Hansen a moron to any human being I meet. It doesn't matter. Like, if I'm shit-faced at a bar, the chance that I am going to shit-talk Chris Hansen is a high probability, because his incompetence is bewildering.
My only major criticism is that, like, yeah, but we all knew Chris Hansen was a piece of shit. Like, you hung out with us on live streams while we were documenting it, while he was running streams saying that we were, like, re-victimizing young women and stuff like that. And you seemed to be pretty on board. And then I blink my eyes for 2 seconds, and you're wearing a Pokemon t-shirt in a Discovery documentary with girls' stories who didn't consent to having their things told there. So, I mean, that's what and in my defense, you haven't said anything for years, so I didn't know that there's another story to this.
Yeah, no, I've kept it, like, I think I signed some form of NDA, so I can't talk too much about it. I will say it was a Pokemon long sleeve button down. I wouldn't wear a t-shirt on television. That's embarrassing. But when it came to, like, when I was brought onto the doc, I was told that Chris Hansen would be an interview subject and not part of it. That was the only thing that was told to me when I was brought on. And I was like, cool, Chris Hansen has fucked this thing up hard. I would love to talk about how he fucked this thing up hard. Like, I was the one who broke that Sarah's laptop was given to Hansen. Because he's an idiot. But somewhere with the executives and somewhere with how the thing was run, it became a story that made Hansen look good. I've spent, like, I think I was interviewed for like 8 to 9 hours for that docuseries. I spent at least a solid hour of that talking about Chris Hansen's follies. From, you know, how To Catch a Predator ended to the Kickstarter.
Were you not involved in, like, organizational aspects of it too? I could have sworn that you were, like, because John Swan was messaging a lot of people at the time. I know, very credible man, John Swan. And I thought he said that you were helping, like, you were contacting him in regards to, like, getting on to the
I helped set up interviews. Like, I definitely helped, you know, reach out to people.
Well, was that before or after you knew where the direction of the documentary was going?
Before.
Okay, well, that's fair, I guess.
Nicholas, I'm so sick of your shit, dude, okay?
Wait, I'm sorry, you didn't want me to run him off the fucking road?
So
when I come in
sick
here
of
and have
this
a
shit,
normal
bro.
conversation with him, it's
Dude,
a problem?
no, it's not about that, okay? You're fucking moaning about this guy. Bro, you sweat for Tipster, okay? Listen, we've all got fucking things we regret, but you sweat for fucking Tipster, bro. What is your problem? You fucking going out at the people.
Documentary was super fucking immoral for reasons that aren't just petty grudge matches. Okay, I think the fact of the matter is, well, I don't know. Do you know the lore behind this? Do you know they, like, basically bullied the girl into coming on and doing, like, an extra episode because they told her story without her consent? She freaked out.
Oh, more commentary history to swerve away from the fact you sweat for Tipster.
Dude, this isn't commentary. This is on fucking streaming platforms. People made shitloads of money off of this.
I think on your point, there's, I guess, something. I don't know if I've spoken about it publicly, but the way Sarah's story was told is probably one of the biggest blemishes on my career. It really makes me uncomfortable the way they did, the way they treated her, and the way that story got told. I know she has a lawsuit with Onision coming up soon. I don't even know if I'm going to touch it, just because I feel so emotionally invested in the way that, like, this story was, like, just done so poorly. I hate when victims feel victimized from, especially my work. Like, I think because honestly, like, the shit you said, I still think of the fact you called me a disingenuous scumbag.
Yes.
And, like, I can completely understand where you were coming from. Like I am so hurt by the way that story came out and the doc came out, and like the things that were said about me like still sting to this day. But I don't like I'm not like
Well,
completely
if that statement's
bewildered.
not accurate, then I do apologize for it. But again, my position is like we were on streams, like covering this stuff in some points together, and then again like you just blink and there you are in the documentary, which is probably like the most egregious like exploitation of any like victim story I've ever seen. Like Chud's covering Prism last week, and that person lied to get an interview with the like the Chris
I've got
Tyson. Yeah.
on another note, I
Stephen
do have a
Hawking
good
about
Prism
it.
story.
Ooh.
If we want to do that at the end, I do have
Yes.
a Prism story that I didn't think anyone else would give a shit about, but this is probably a good place. But yeah, I completely understand that. I completely understood your POV at the time, like, but I couldn't really talk about it because I didn't know what I could say under the contract.
Okay.
Like like if you're going to judge me based off the work that I have most control over,
I
like
think
my
that's fair.
Rolling Stone stories and my Passion Fruit and even my Insider pieces. Like those stories that I'm able to put the victim stories first and foremost, because when dealing with victims, the most important thing you can do is to make sure they don't feel victimized. And I don't think Discovery cared. And that shit
No, they
pisses me
definitely
off.
didn't. They absolutely
Right?
didn't.
It completely like it ruined my entire view of how docuseries are made in the way that thing is gone, and I have not touched that world since. And
And in
stuck.
Chud's defense, with knowledge on the subject, there's no videos about this. Nobody's ever gone into a deep dive, as far as I know, talking about the Discovery series.
Well, nobody else knows.
Everyone
know?
put that down
Like,
immediately and just like walked away from it.
Yeah, because the people that were reached out to, Edward kind of looked terrible. And I don't know what happened with that saga.
Oh, wait, yeah, that's true. Chud, do you know Edwin did it too?
Oh, people were saying in chat about Edwin. In fact, maybe we should talk
Edwin,
about
I
this for
forgot.
real.
I literally just remembered right now that Edwin also just showed up on it too, and he looked terrible as well.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm sorry to distract it with my own personal stuff on my own stream. Apologies for this, but I've not watched it because I've been too busy with all the other shit that's happening. But I think it was to you, I made a throwaway comment about Edwin, or someone I made a throwaway comment about Edwin. Well,
And he did a whole stream.
He went into that personally, did a whole fucking stream about it.
Now, you mentioned that yesterday. I knew exactly what you meant, and then I made a joke about Edwin last night, and then I stopped myself, went back, and I said, "By the way, Edwin, that was a joke. Please don't do a full hour on me over it."
Yeah, I can't, dude, I'm not trying to be smug about this, okay? But I can't even remember exactly what I said. But I think it was along the lines of he instigated an inappropriate relationship with this Olivia person. So my understanding, based on what you've told me, is that she instigated the relationship, not him.
His argument, you said it was immoral that he was doing a story, like trying to help her with potential abuse allegations, and then he ended up like getting into a call where she got naked and he jerked off to her on fucking FaceTime. Okay,
yeah, so I missed all of this.
Edwin's defense of that was, well, she initiated. So I mean, I don't know if that makes it better. I don't think it does, but
how does that stack up with?
He just wants me to let him know that the girl, like, he didn't ask the girl; she just whipped her shirt off, dude. That just happened, bro.
How does this stack up against like a journalistic ethics thing? Do you think, Stephen?
What? The whipping the tits out? What?
Well, let's put it, not to be too precise about this, but let's say a journalist, not you, not to make it awkward, but let's say a journalist was speaking to someone for a story, and it was a woman who was talking about some sort of bad thing that happened to them, some sexual misconduct, and then the woman was trying to instigate a sexual relationship. What should the journalist do?
You end the call. You end the fucking call.
Get out of there.
You don't keep going. Like the second an interviewer interviewee relationship should never be anything more than just them explaining things to you. The second it becomes personal, the second it becomes sexual, you end that shit because then it's no longer an interview. Then it goes into wildly unethical territory.
Well, the thing is that for this case, I don't want to say to defend Edwin because I'm not really defending his actions. It wasn't like this was an interview. I guess like the context was she was drunk and about to like take her clothes off on IG Live. And then he like said, "Hey, stop! You're doing something stupid here." And then she called her and then took all her clothes off, and then they had like a weird sexual interaction. again, but this is whilst Edwin was currently researching to bring on all, like, I think 5 of Mama Max's ex-girlfriends to discuss abuse allegations with them in a, like, I guess an official capacity, even though he doesn't claim to be a journalist.
But the key point is the way that they came to meet was Edwin looking into this story. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually I think I was on that stream because this is the first time I'd ever seen this. Like when we were covering the situation, they all just called in immediately, which was odd, I guess.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm happy to look into it at some point. There's a lot of other stuff going on. I just wanted.
I learned a lot. You know, I learned a lot of lore that I've been out of the loop on. It's like we're back on John Swan streams, just without the Minecraft allegations.
I mean, in any case, is this a fair? I mean, look, I'm not Nicholas. You're not obligated, obviously, to be nice to this guy forever. But is there any more concern?
I have no reason to think that he's lying, if that's what you're asking. I mean, I'm not that biased. I'm not going to just feel like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought he'd say. To be honest, I thought he'd get on here and say that, like, no, he did nothing wrong. Shut the fuck up. I didn't expect to have an actual conversation about it.
And Stephen, from my perspective, what it feels like is there is at least some recognition of, you know, some regret there at the very least, and you feel like you're in a different place now, and you would just ask that people judge you by what you're doing today, rather than something that happened 4 years ago.
Yeah,
even if their perception's better.
100%. Like, I have covered a lot of controversial people online. You know, from Steven Crowder all the way to, you know, Vitali. But when I do those stories and I get aggression from their fan bases, it doesn't really bother me because I know I'm in the right and I know I've done my research. I know all my facts are correct, and I know all my quotes are correct. When it came to the Discovery doc, the reason all of the conversation and the aggression towards me hurt as much was because I knew it wasn't my best work, because it wasn't really my work. But the fact that it was being associated as my work because I was the one who was publicly online alongside Chris Hansen and my executive producer title.
Yeah, like, he was the executive producer on the show.
I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. They just fucking gave it to me.
Dude, so you'd see like all the girls are like, I didn't want this, what the fuck? And then the first screenshot is like executive producer Stephen Asarch.
No, trust me. That it is one of my biggest blemishes, and it is something I genuinely like think about when I report on new essay allegations. I'm like, I don't want anyone to feel how Sarah or Billy or any of the other women felt when that docuseries came out. It's just not the way to do this stuff. And it hurt personally because I knew it was bad. So, you know, the fact that I sort of disappeared from it all, you know, I literally started my job at Business Insider the week that docuseries came out. So, like, all of the hate I was receiving was so, like, you know, tripled because I was writing multiple stories a week that could be looked at and dissected. If it was up to me, I would have, you know, disappeared from the internet for a year and then, you know, showed up again. But because I really, really disliked how that docuseries was made, I feel bad, and I feel like I've learned from it, and I don't make those mistakes.
Did you not just get the credit removed? Is that not possible?
No.
Well, so I was contractually obligated to be a part of Part 4, and I told them to fuck off.
Oh.
And that's why Def Noodles is in it. Because
you got replaced by Def Noodles.
I was replaced by Def Noodles.
Okay.
Which is kind of the biggest insult in all of this.
Yeah, Chud, this was a real nuclear situation that kind of goes unspoken about. Def Noodles was on the Discovery streaming network documentary.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I thought it summarized kind of the feeling of it all. Is Def Noodles' perception at the time.
This was like peak manic Def Noodles too. This wasn't like modern Def Noodles where he's kind of normal.
Yeah, this isn't Drama Alert Def Noodles. This is, you know,
he was chill when I met him, but I think he was he had a little bad time there for a bit. I keep saying
Creators always
if that Drama Alert thing doesn't go well, I feel kind of like I probably have to help him in some capacity because it's like a weird situation.
Listen, there's something. Look, okay. Listen, getting the credit removed. Okay, I know that people. I don't really personally care about that. It's 4 years after the fact. I think the water is under the bridge, and I think the horse is bolted. I think, yeah, you probably could have got it removed, and you didn't for some reason. I don't know if that's true, but
I don't think that I can do that. I think it's just sort of stuck there.
Do you think they're gonna
Um,
edit the fucking the
Yeah, right.
video?
In the back of Max on like the last page, it's just sitting there gaining,
Wait, is this
views
is on
from random
Max now?
Facebook. Oh yeah, it's on. I think so. Yeah, because they all the mergers and whatnot.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Like the Onision doc was supposed to be like it was Discovery Plus was launching, and they were looking for ideas to bring like the hip kids in. And from my understanding, Chris Hansen pitched the thing, and they were like, "Great, but you are not involved editorially because of your problems in the past." But then somehow along the way, they changed their minds. That's about as much as I know on this.
They probably realized they didn't have enough to make like a television show, so they had to like kind of retool what they were actually doing, and then they went to Chris because Chris was knowledgeable on the subject.
Yeah.
Or at least
I wouldn't be surprised.
I've got to be. It's
Chris-
in chat that are being a bit retarded. Okay. Oh, you do it under any means necessary, guys. You'd probably have to file some sort of legal suit against a corporation to get them to do something like this. Okay. Fucking what was it? Stephen King didn't want to be on the credit for The Lawnmower Man because it didn't match his book closely enough, and he took legal action to do it, and then they still fucked it up in Europe. Like, I don't think it's as simple as you're making it out to be. I don't think you can just send a nicely worded email and go, "Oh, I'm
if
not really
I was
happy
in
with
that
this."
documentary, I would have stormed into the office and demanded they took my name off the opening credits.
I mean, also, I don't want to hide my mistakes. Like,
Yeah.
I can admit that it's a mistake, and it's not something I'm the most proud of, but I don't want to hide it and not acknowledge its existence. Like, I'd rather confront it head on, even when it comes to random people in my Twitter comments, because I'd rather that make clear, because it is kind of one of its own, and, Onision is kind of off the internet now, though he did start posting a few days ago. But
I mean, in fairness, you could have said no or could have left or whatever. You happily speak to Nicholas and then challenge some of this stuff. So yeah, I think it's all good. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh no, we need blood sports.
No,
Nick.
listen, Nick was.
This is the part of the stream where Chud has to pit us against each other to fight, just so we have like a little bit of disagreement.
Listen, mate, I don't have to pit anyone against anyone, right? Nicholas, what is this, right? I was watching your coverage of the Keemstar thing, and do you know what I heard? It was,
what?
Oh, Keemstar, how could he do this? Oh my God, this is so terrible. Like, what is he thinking? And then you're like his friend. Like, do you not know that he does this stuff? You're sweeping for Keemstar.
Oh, which in particular? What's the example?
So when it's like Tommy C not being paid, okay, right? You recognize Keemstar's background and nature, right? But you're acting
wasn't
surprised.
my response was, "Oh, he's a cheap piece of shit." Like I wasn't that like in the intro where I was like, "That's fucking hilarious."
Okay, so if you agree that he's a cheap piece of shit and he's a bad person, why are you friends with him?
I didn't go into business with him for a reason. He offered me $100,000 to work for Drama Alert. Okay, listen. As much as you want to go down this road, all right, I went to go work a real job instead.
Because you're mentioning it, and I did find this fascinating. Yeah. Why did you write for Drama Alert? Because seeing you do journalism was adorable.
It was horrible. No, I just did it to try to get it started. He wanted me to manage the site, and we were just trying to spam bullshit onto the fucking page until like actual writers were hired, and then I would just manage like what gets posted. It was like he wanted to go into like a written format or something, but the reason I was being brought on was to do my video essays for Keem under his brand. I guess we did we did 2 test runs or whatever, one of which I was paid for.
Yeah, those articles are interesting, awful. Like Dexerto adjacent.
Oh no,
Dexerto adjacent. I wrote them in fucking 20 minutes. I was just He said like get like 3 sentences.
A compliment to Dexerto.
Oh boy. Okay, damn. We flipped the tables. Let's go.
You and Richard Lewis don't like each other, do you?
Oh, me and him? Yeah, no.
I like Richard Lewis. What's that about?
He like when I first started, I had bad words on my account. I'm also another mistake. And he screenshotted one of them and tried to use it as like attack on me. And I don't like him for that. I think it's fair.
What was the
When
bad word?
did he do that?
When
This
did
was
he-
like
it might have been the
2018.
It might have been the F slur.
Yeah.
Based? Yo, let's go. Okay, so
Yeah, not proud of that one. It's deleted.
listen, you're amongst
I
friends
don't
here.
do
It's all
gamer
good
words.
for us. Okay, no gamer words now. Fair enough. But I mean, I'm guessing that because Richard Lewis, I think, is quite a middle of the road kind of guy in terms of like, I don't think he cares about that kind of thing. I'm guessing, was he trying to present some sort of like, you're supposed to be woke and you're saying the bad words? Is that what it was?
You got it.
Okay.
You got it on the nail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic
Classic Richard Lewis.
I'm allowed
obviously.
to opinions. Yeah, I'm allowed to have opinions.
No.
That's one of
Listen, that's fine. Oh my god, dude. Okay.
What other
right,
dramas
yeah.
can the internet?
I didn't even
or
look
do-
at Nicholas. I didn't look at that message before I said that, and that message you said is 100% what it was. Absolutely, he wanted to dunk on the woke scold for not being woke before. Damn, I know too well. Anyway, the basic thing here then. So it's just over some past thing. Do you still have beef with him, or is it just that one thing?
Me?
Yeah.
Richard? I mean, I just don't like. Yeah, I guess I still have beef over that. That's fine.
I'll solve that one day as well. Don't worry. Okay. gonna fix it all.
Don't confront me with Richard Lewis.
I'm gonna sweep it all away. Don't worry. Anyway, listen. Let's get to the juicy stuff here. So, what is the Prism thing that you wanted to talk about just a moment ago?
Sure. So let me pull up my email real quick. Prism. So Prism has talked about Mike Klum, the guy who made the docuseries about Boogie.
Yeah.
Right now, I think it's been leaked already. Mike is doing one on EDP.
Mm-hmm.
Prism basically wanted the EDP story for himself. So in February of 2024, Prism pretended to be either Mike Klum or a member of Mike Klum's team in an attempt to convince EDP not to do an interview with Mike. Prism faked screenshots and text messages claiming they were from Mike and sent them to EDP. When Mike called him out for his bullshit, Prism folded and then sent him a bunch of manic screenshots about the Chris story.
That's interesting because the way that Prism presented that to me, as you probably know, was I reached out to Mike Klum, but it turns out there's some other context that he was trying to pretend to be a member of his team or something to get the EDP story. What? That's nuts.
Yeah. He pretended to be a guy called Mark Lepuz and sent EDP this email. Here's the proof I work for Mike in production, and they are trying to set you up to profit off of you. If they are offering you money as well, it's a scam. It's all a part of Gideon's plan. Be careful. People try to set up anybody nowadays, and Gideon is returning to pranks. Oh, yeah, he also tried to convince him that when Mike was going to do the interview, Gideon was going to show up and try to punk him.
And you've verified this? This is 100%?
I haven't verified it with Prism, because Prism is a lying bastard.
Okay. Well, he doesn't want to talk to you from what I understand, all right?
Yeah, I'm full of baloney and fake news.
Okay.
But I've seen the text messages and the screenshots, and spoke to Mike on the matter.
Right.
So,
I mean, yeah, Mike Klum's a trustworthy guy, I presume. I don't think there's any issues there from what I know.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm more than happy to hear Prism's side of it.
Right, okay.
If he ever wants to, we'll do it here, give you content.
Oh, wow, okay. I mean, I've been quite critical of Prism recently, more so than even in that interview, so I don't know how that will pan out. But in fact, I don't know if you saw that he tricked another commentary guy, Lorix, with a fake interview. Well, he said he was going to talk to him and then just spoke for 2 minutes and called him an idiot and then left. Did you see that? Yeah,
I saw that clip and I was like, so he's doing the exact same thing as an attempt at a gotcha? Like, it didn't work the first time. His only response to my first story was to share Nathan's video that he posted originally, which I then interviewed Nathan and did a massive story on him. So it's not like I was trying to hide Nathan. I just needed to do my due diligence as a journalist.
Yeah, sure.
Which, just isn't the case sometimes.
Well, look, I mean, obviously, my view on what Prism has done there, allegedly, according to what you're saying, is just he's an absurd individual. But I guess what I'd say is this, okay? So if I was Prism or I was defending Prism, I would say, well, you see, that's the kind of strategies and techniques that James O'Keefe uses. And what's wrong with doing that exactly? What would you say to that?
Well, I don't like James O'Keefe.
Okay.
First and foremost, I don't think I don't think Project Veritas acts ethically. If you watch their videos, they're just like kind of jumbled together, and they don't have the full context of the conversations. They're just like random snippets and bits in an attempt to try to do gotcha journalism, which is closer to yellow journalism, which is basically like a term used for 1800s, fake drama. You can't, like, if you misrepresent yourself as a journalist, creator, reporter, you're opening yourself up to a lot of legal problems and a lot of ethical problems. When you approach someone for an interview, you have to make it clear who you are. If I enter a Discord wanting to interview someone, I don't, pretend to be a random fan and then come in. I say who I am, and then I get shit because of it. But that shit I get is, just part of it. We're the first generation of online journalists, and I do consider what you and Nick do to be some form of journalism, even if you don't.
Okay.
Um,
Take that.
but yeah, but what Prism did was just straight lying, and when you're trying to like ruin someone's project that they've spent a lot of money on because you want the exclusive on a pedophile, it's just kind of sus and weird.
There's a weird clout incentive that comes with being an online journalist that I think is going to become a huge problem moving forward. These days, you don't need to go to a school to become a fucking journalist, so I think it's better to kind of describe yourself as is. You're trying to be a journalist. That's your goal. You want to hold yourself to that standard. I try to temper expectations. I don't want people to have that expectation of me.
Yeah, well,
I think
listen, I was going to say not to jerk each other off too much, Nicholas, but I think we've got similar perspectives and standards on this stuff, and I think that other creators do too. But I think that some people don't care, and they're happy with their daily slop video, under researched, poorly put together, in a fucking hour, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Not to suck
Yeah,
myself
I
off or
think-
suck you off, but I think there's a different level to this. Anyway, sorry, what were you going to say, Stephen?
I think a lot of people don't give a shit, and this is an income thing for them. And I think there probably should be something to differentiate the two. But again, I do this as a hobby. This isn't my job.
Like, I don't think it's fair to put you and CoffeeZilla on the same level when it comes to like, internet journalism.
100%.
Exactly. But like, I still consider you guys, disseminating information to spread it to the public as a form of journalism. I think there's different layers to it. Like, I just interviewed CoffeeZilla's lawyer for a story, and talking about the difference between like editorial journalists and online journalists. That they still do a lot of the same things, but without those editorial standards of needing to go through editors, fact checkers, copywriters. There is a bit of a difference, but it is also kind of all in this big bubble of reporting, even if it's not necessarily the same thing. It's just the problem is when people, shit things out in 20 minutes and get it wrong, and then it gets spread and spread and spread, like what happened with the Prism story. The Prism video is full of misinformation. Yeah. But that misinformation was parroted on like everyone's Twitter thread because that was the information that was being aggregated by the YouTubers not doing research. So if we were able to like find a system where people could still get the information they wanted quickly, but done with like, proper facts and checks and balances, I think that would be the best for everyone and would probably do very well on the platform.
I mean, we've got this community note feature, apparently similar to community notes, coming to YouTube. So you guys going to improve things?
No. I don't think you can do a community. How can you community note a 40-minute video in 4 sentences? How could you possibly provide clarification and correction? It's going to help people when there's crypto scams or when that's not Elon Musk, but I don't think it's going to be very useful considering that the average most viewers on YouTube, sorry, no offense to chat, are like goldfish.
I think that
I don't read chat.
One of the problems with community notes is sometimes they're good, but other times you think you could have just left a comment. You're clearly doing this as like some sort of like, oh, I'm getting to take the advertiser revenue away. And you're not actually changing the context. You're just, And I worry that's going to be the case with this. It's like you could have left a comment, but instead you try and give it more gravitas by making it a community note.
Yeah, and that's when you're community noting potentially like a paragraph. Again, I don't know how would you even begin to community note a Tro video that's 2.5 hours long?
Yeah.
That's why we do video responses here.
Yeah. I think also when you look at like X's community notes, they're not always the best. And they can be kind of gibberish. Like when you have to like get those same goldfish to then try to fact check you, they're going to let their inherent biases, flood, community notes. Community notes are kind of gibberish. So then you take that system and you just put it towards YouTube, you're gonna have those same issues. It's just instead of Elon's problems now, instead of people not being able to read like a 280 characters, they're not going to watch 40 minutes of a video and then rush to the comments section to.
Yeah.
It was what YouTube was trying to kill when they got rid of dislikes, was trying to limit the toxicity, but instead it just moved the toxicity to a different place.
And dislikes are a much less inherently toxic feature than having a huge bar of like other people's words appearing under your video. Like this is fixing a problem that we already had a fix to, and that YouTube removed for basically no reason.
Yeah, I just did a blog after the Mr. Beast, how many dislikes did the Mr. Beast video get situation, where they should just put the dislikes back in.
Yeah.
If you're trying to solve the problem with community notes, then you're basically admitting that there is a problem. So just give us back dislikes so that we have a metric to understand this stuff, and understand, why a community note is even
that
out.
fucking thing is fake. Nobody knows that for 3 years it hasn't been pulling API data for new videos, and it's done off an algorithm with peer-to-peer numbers. The people who are looking for these dislike numbers are the types of people who install it. The average user does not install a dislike, probably doesn't even hit the button or even realize the dislike counter is gone. Okay, so the people who have it are more likely to use it, those people are more likely to skew the results, and then when you want to see those results, they're the least accurate.
Yeah, I think like I have the dislike thing installed just for my research, but I never use it because it never makes sense. Like a Mr. Beast
And if you click on
video,
the random ChudLogic video, though, you're probably going to get something fairly accurate. You're not going to
for
get
people that are like
video.
super duper online.
That you hate my
Well,
videos.
I'm saying, because nobody's looking at your channel and going, "Oh, I wonder how many dislikes Chud got." Okay, they're looking for it on the Mr. Beast video because they're on their accounts disliking the fuck out of it, all from the extension, which is skewing the results. Like,
absolutely.
Asmongold was on there and goes, "Yeah, I think it's 5 to 10% off." Okay, but you're not in controversy. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. Or like the latest Star Wars trailer that's got too many blacks in, and they're like, "Oh, let me see how unlike this is because there's too many minorities in it," and that's the sort of thing, isn't it, that they're looking for?
Yeah.
The
Dream video. Dream sent me the statistics. His video was off by 140,000. I had scrolling shit from his fucking feed. All right, sorry. What were you saying, Steve?
No, I just on that point, when people want those channels, the Star Wars chuds, they want controversy. They need controversy. So having a large dislike button benefits them because then they can create a video about more they have to make that day.
Yeah.
When the average YouTube user, which I don't think a lot of like really online individuals understand, that the average YouTube user is not them. They're like a mom who turns on their TV to Baby Shark, or like some random dad in the Midwest who wants to learn how to woodwork. Like that's more of the average YouTube user than the person who is looking at the dislike numbers and getting angry that there is a thick woman in the newest first person shooter.
For the community notes in particular, like Chud, what's a drama that you know? Because I don't want to pull up long drama Chud wasn't here for to just use it against you.
You want to go back to our 2020 streams? We can pull back.
Well, my go-to is like Toddy Westbrook, James Charles. Is everyone familiar with that one at least?
Just go, just whatever, just go with it.
Okay, so in the span of 48 hours, we had millions of subs moving back and forth from channel to channel, right? Maybe even George Not Found is one that's in Chud's era. If George Not Found released his video, which was, in my opinion, fairly positively viewed, I guess, after the release, the community note would say, like, this guy is a rapist. And that would get, like, automatically boosted to the top immediately before anyone even watches the video. That's how it would go.
Okay, wait a second. Yeah, sure. I get what you're saying. Someone left. So Tofu normally is on the money with this kind of thing. Take it with a pinch of salt. This is a chatter though. YouTube's note system. The notes are to be approved by verifying authorities who checks the notes as applicable, researched, and helpful, not garbage like X's community notes. I mean, this just takes me.
Authorities? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, what's a YouTube authority?
It
Is
just
Def
sounds like
Noodles
exactly
a YouTube
what
authority?
Yeah.
This just
Is
takes me to
Keemstar
like,
going to approve it?
this just takes me to who watches the Watchmen, and don't get me wrong, I am very much a lib, a sort of lib mainstream media cocksucker. I fucking think the mainstream media is generally to be trusted and good and whatever. But there is a problem sometimes with the fact checking thing. If I think you should be cautious about thinking, the fact checkers are going to get it right, because there needs to be oversight for the fact checkers. It's like, who watches the Watchmen, right? Like, fact checkers have got stuff wrong.
Who solves all these problems? How many stories is Turkey Tom is the fact checker who got super mega correct. Okay? So if it took Turkey Tom to make a fucking video explaining super mega, I don't really have a lot of hope that the random chatter knows more about it than the people who are spending
Listen,
months
not to suck my own dick. I got super mega correct on the day, firing from the hip, watching Lex Updog's video, okay?
The point of the matter is you guys were speaking to a brick wall. It took a video to convince everybody that it was going to happen. So you're telling me that they would have gotten the community note right, and they wouldn't have the people wouldn't have stormed the community note and demanded YouTube stop defending rapists?
Also, what does the community note even say? Which video does it target? Does it target the original accusation video? Does it go on the super mega apology videos? Are you going to have to collect all of these videos? Because when it comes to a lot of this drama, they're like interspersed over, lots and lots of videos, live streams. And unless, like, what I try to do with some of my articles is try to collect all of that information in one location that people are able to find. But if you're just going on YouTube and looking at a random video and you see a random, like, community note on it and you don't have the full context and it links you to other context, are you going to click on it? Like, people aren't going to click on the evidence to begin with. I don't think a community note is what's going to solve YouTube's misinformation problem. It's a much deeper inherent rot that needs like a systematic overhaul that a community note isn't going to do.
Chud, I just sent you my email. It's the exact same thing as Twitter community notes.
Okay.
This is the description from YouTube to me.
Okay.
When did they announce it?
I got this a couple days ago. It's not formally announced because it's not like an official feature. Like I'm piloting it, I guess.
Oh. No, it is. It does look like the same thing as community notes from the looks of it here. In terms of it's other people that are reviewing it, right?
Yeah, it says how this works. When you find a video that might be confusing or inaccurate, you can submit a community note. Your contributions will be reviewed alongside others with a wide range of views to ensure their quality and helpfulness before being added to the information panel below the video. That's exactly what Twitter is.
Okay. Someone actually super chat. Sorry, go on.
No. People paid you.
I just wanted to get this out there. There's been a few super chats, which aren't, which are fine. I'll get to later. But one question for you, and I guess, you can give your take on this. Do you feel that legacy media's review processes and editorial apparatus are even adequately equipped for covering internet drama?
It depends on the outlet. I'll put it like that. Rolling Stone had a much more rigorous process than, say, when I was writing for iDigital Times many years ago. When it comes to like writing online, the fact I am heavy-handed when it comes to using hyperlinks. I believe that citing everything possible is the way to go. So fact checkers and my editors looking over these pieces are able to look at the evidence that I'm presenting. Is it correct? Is it not correct? Will I say most newsrooms are prepared for that? Absolutely not. I have some friends at some much fancier digital media companies that struggle to get their stories published because their editors and their legal doesn't understand how the system works. They don't understand how the claims, like, I know that there are stories that were going to come out about the Discord logs, but they didn't understand why the Discord logs were real in the Ava Chris Tyson story. So it got killed because of that. Absolutely, there are outlets that don't understand how the internet works and how to examine it properly as an archaeologist. And it kills stories and it kills coverage. I think that's a problem of having a bunch of boomers still in charge. I don't really write for those places, but I've absolutely heard those problems exist.
Why do you think Rolling Stone is kind of better equipped with this stuff? What's the reason for that? Younger people in charge, or?
I think they've always been like, it's always been a hip magazine. I'm using air quotes hard.
Okay.
I was a Hunter S. Thompson fan before I got into this. I think they were just willing to tackle these stories in ways that a lot of other outlets couldn't do. I'm lucky to work with a really good editor on those pieces, who was able to, figure out what worked and what didn't, and we managed to tell a story to a lot of people who wouldn't necessarily be aware of it. Like it was the top of Google for a while when you put in Mr. Beast. So the average person who isn't on YouTube isn't, going to care about it as much, but the average normie got their information on this subject based on that story.
Yeah.
So it all just depends.
Yeah. What's been kind of interesting and kind of, I guess, a bit shocking for me, is I've spoken to people who work in like digital media outside of all of this PR and stuff, and I've spoken to them, and they know who Mr. Beast is, and they've got like no idea about that this is going on. Do you know what I mean? And it's like you would think everyone would know about this, but I think you're right in that this is the gateway to Rolling Stone stuff.
I did a blog last week for Passion Fruit about how is this going to be the end moment for Mr. Beast? This was even before the newest video of Dogpack or my article. Like, is this going to be the end for Mr. Beast? And the only thing that's going to determine if this ends for Mr. Beast is if the average normie learns about it. Because right now, all of this information is so deep online. You have to know who Dogpack is in order to watch Dogpack's video and understand those claims. Like Dogpack's first video, when I checked, it was like closer to 10 million views. A Mr. Beast video pulls in 60 to 70 in the first day.
Yeah.
That is such a small percentage of viewers who are watching this stuff, and they're children. The average person does not understand the full allegations against Mr. Beast. The average executive that works with Mr. Beast might be becoming more aware because of the coverage that is happening. But I bet most of them don't. Like, Mr. Beast announced a toy line yesterday that he premiered at San Diego Comic-Con. Like, you really think Moose Toys executives were in the room? Wouldn't know to at least push the button a little bit back if they had known all of the accusations that were happening?
Yeah.
Unless it was like contractually obligated and they had to do it. But it just feels like the mainstream itself doesn't understand the full extent of what's going on with Mr. Beast. It will happen if these stories keep coming out. Like, there's no way to stop the endless stream of people learning about it. But for now, it's just kind of stuck in the YouTube ether. The average YouTube viewer has no idea either of you exist. You're very niche personalities. And your audience knows all about this stuff, and they can share it with their friends and family. But, how far does that really spread?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree. We just got Humegalold, Nicholas. How'd you feel about that?
Dude, I just got obliterated. No, the vast majority of YouTube users don't even know there's drama content.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, who's the biggest...
The only reason we know is because shit gets big on social media, but that implies that you're actively searching through Twitter.
Yeah.
The average person watches like one or two creators. They have like their DIY they like. You
ever just fall into a trap of watching woodwork videos?
My girlfriend loves woodworking and DIY.
Yeah.
So
you just sit there and you're like,
tables.
Look at all these resin things that people are creating. Those guys don't even know we exist.
100%.
It's a better world.
An entirely different side to YouTube.
Different side. Yeah, we're a pebble. We're a pimple on YouTube's ass. Literally.
I'm normally watching mainstream news, educating myself. Actually, I don't bother with that shit. I want to know if my country's going to burn down tomorrow.
Yeah, Shell. You don't watch the real news. You watch what they put on TV. Yeah.
I only watch Tim Pool.
Yeah, that's the best place.
The Civil War is coming. Okay, the Civil War is coming.
I wear a beanie. I'm wearing a beanie right now. You just can't see.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's anyway, listen, this is all too friendly. Why aren't we fighting again? What's going on? I think that's it. I think we're kind of coming to the end.
Chud has like a nervous tick where things are going calm for too long, and he's like, I need them to fight now. They need to fight immediately.
Well, no, it's not
Nick
that.
was
I don't.
really mean to me for a
I
few
should have
years.
I should have warned Keem. Like when you come on, it's there's going to be a hostile portion of this discussion, no matter what.
Okay, can we talk about that for a second? Okay,
There's nothing wrong with that.
It wasn't that deep. I just was trying to make some content happen, so I was throwing a couple of grenades out there and see if one went off.
Well,
And
the
Keem
reason why
saw,
I didn't
like,
warn him is I
it
didn't
feels
think
like.
it was. I didn't think there was an issue. Yeah.
Right.
I
It's
saw
just
like
normal.
one of those clips where Keem was screaming, and I just thought that's what Keem does. So I don't necessarily understand.
Yeah,
the
I didn't
full
come away
context.
from the convo thinking he was mad either. I thought he made like a joke in chat. I didn't realize that it pissed him off that much. And like I think I made like a verbal, "Oh, sorry guys, I forgot. Chud wants me to fight with Keemstar," and then I started fighting with Keem. Like I think I literally like pointed into deep right field before I swung, you know?
Yeah,
I mean-
it feels like he wants the content when it's other people fighting, but when it's him fighting, he doesn't like that. And it's like, I don't know, like I'm happy to get into it if someone's got a disagreement. It's no bad blood. It's just the nature of the content, you know? But he seemed to mention it a couple of times on that members only stream. And I was like, listen, bro, I wasn't trying to upset anyone. I was just trying to run my fucking show and have a good time, you know?
So
What the
that's
fuck?
why I pointed like you disagree with me on Connor, and it's like I think that the fact that Connor went and fucking fought back is precisely why he was fired. I don't think it has anything to do with production. I don't think it has anything to do with any of that other shit. I think the docket was fine, and I think he said he even conceded on the docket at one point. But like, I think it's literally, and keep in mind, this is the same guy who asked D-Max, "Hey, can you call out Wings on Twitter? This could be really good for the channel's content. I know you're just the editor. I don't really feel comfortable with that. I don't know. I don't work with. I don't call out my bosses. I'm just being employed, you know. No, come on, it'd be really good for the show." And then when he gets into a fight with Connor and goes and debates Bo Black on Bo Black's stream, Connor gets shit canned for talking and like, oh, no one would ever get away with talking to their boss like that, well, except on the Lol Cow podcast where that's something that was
Yeah, isn't that
mentioned
the gimmick?
to him when they got hired.
The gimmick is
Yeah.
everybody screams at each other. Like Keem has always been an overly sensitive individual who holds grudges like a dwarf. I interviewed Keem in like 2017, 2018. Still probably holds that over me to this day. When it comes to these recent, I've sort of like watched the lolcow stuff on the back burner just because it is fascinating, and it does feel like he does not want to be the center of it. It's why he keeps saying that he doesn't want to be the host of lolcow, but he can't stop himself because he wants to be that ringleader and wants to be in charge. That's kind of Keem's whole MO, and the fact that he gets upset when other people call him out on it. Like even on Twitter, you know, him turning Drama Alert into a far right, you know, news hellhole. He still argues with people in randos in the comments.
Wait,
Like,
what do you mean far right?
no
The
reason.
person that runs it is trans.
I would love to interview the woman who runs it. I would love to get her POV because they do spew some wild shit on
The
Trump.
reason I think the way that that's set up, I'm obviously not going to share financial details. I think it's just set to like whatever is currently active on Twitter, which right now I guess that kind of content is what's being pushed. It's to farm money. It makes a shit.
It's an impression farm,
load.
right?
I've never seen a Twitter account pull that much money before.
Didn't they get 1
Yeah.
million
Yeah.
impressions the other month? I mean, that's ridiculous money, probably, right?
They do really well over there. It's
great rage bait.
Yeah, I think that's the intent behind it. I mean, I certainly fell for it. I immediately wrote Keem, I go, this account is useless. I'm muting it. Every drama story they cover is terrible. And yeah, I mean, there's not really any incentive to change it because that's how their algorithm works now.
They did a post on my Rolling Stone article, and the only thing they could get was that Ava blocked my number. And I was like, there's a lot more in there you could have dug through, but it's harder, I guess, to rage.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that's like picking the thing out that they know is going to get the most attention, right? But yeah, I mean, for me, it was an interesting point, but, you know, not to blow smoke up anyone's ass, but obviously I shared it and said that overall it's a good article, you know, so. Oh.
Yeah. And no one else spoke to Ava but me, even if it was for like a minute and a half.
Yeah, actually, whilst we're on that, funnily enough, you mentioned that. How would you kind of characterize that interaction, like speaking about it?
It was weird. I got her number through reasons I won't share. And I called. She picked up immediately, and I was like, "Hi, my name is Steven. I'm a reporter with Rolling Stone. I'd love to ask you a few questions." She goes, Okay, I'll call you back later. What's your name? I did that thing where I have to explain my name over and over because it's weird as hell. And then she goes, okay, bye, and then hangs up the phone. I was shocked that Ava picked up a random Google Voice number that called her, but it happened. And then throughout the day, I kept calling, went straight to voicemail. And then eventually I got the single ring voicemail on every call, which means I was blocked. Just an odd set of interactions overall. I've been blocked by plenty of people. I've been asking for comment, but very rarely do they pick up first.
Yeah, that is interesting. Damn. I mean, that is the closest we've got since the tweet thread, I think, to a comment from Ava Tyson, right?
Well, there's Ava Tyson fan page, where she posts like React videos. It's very odd. It's up there.
What is that? Was that Ava? That was Ava Tyson's channel. It's now changed to that. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's now Ava Tyson fan page. I think last I checked, which was a couple days ago, but it was still uploading. The views are a lot lower. And the comments are a lot more toxic. But they're still posting. I think maybe they just had like a catalog of stuff
some reason
they needed to get through. But what do I know? It's just odd.
What? Oh yeah, I can see it here. Literal React videos. 7 days ago. And then there's another one here. Exposing the truth. Chris Tyson's "Do you like kids?" allegation.
Hello.
Explained.
I just want to double check. Did you?
Oh my
I
god!
don't know if you're looking at the real one.
Chris Tyson fan page, 23,000 subscribers. Is that right?
Which one? Sorry.
It's just called Chris Tyson fan page, and it's got 23.3k subs.
Let me clack to check. Yeah, that's the one.
Basically, this video, I know what this video is. There was an edited video that made it look like Chris Tyson was saying, "I like kids." So it's almost, I mean, you know, I feel like it's debunking a meme. That's what this video seems to be doing, from what I can see here, just on a brief look. But
yeah, I guess we caught that early.
Damn, there we go. Another lots of exclusives based. Okay. Anyway, look, I feel like we've hashed out everything we need to hash out. Really, is there anything else?
Nick was mean to me, and now he's less mean to me. And
That's
we
success,
did it.
success. We've
Yeah,
been
I think it was a
successful.
good chat. Chud, I want to
What's up?
send you something. I need an optics check. I need you to tell me if this tweet is too psychotic, okay?
Dude, you're so annoying. Okay, go on. What is it?
All right, let me send it to
I
you.
can't say it, right?
Do I have to be in the call while it happens?
No,
you can
okay.
say
Go,
it.
no, go. It's fine.
All
Right, anyway,
right.
listen, let's wrap this up. Stephen,
Yeah.
thank you as always for your time. Much appreciated. Maybe we'll speak again at some point about something. Who knows? Look forward to it, okay?
Yeah. Come on.
Wait,
Follow me on
yeah,
Twitter.
show yourself out. Show yourself. Go.
I am Asarch. IAMASARCH. I long for social clout, and you'll get all my weird thoughts. You know
Great
you
stuff.
want it.
Thanks for coming on. Pleasure.
All right. Bye.
Good chat.